During the Pope's historic trip as the first pontiff to the UAE for the Human Fraternity meeting, a document on human fraternity was drafted, along with the Sunni Imam al-Tayyib. The 5-page document is broken down in various parts, touching on some of the plagues of the current time and what unites humanity. While Islam and Catholicism present a different belief in God, as Allah or as Jesus Christ, the document mentions the importance of this belief, saying, "The first and most important aim of religion is to believe in God, to honor Him, and to invite all men and women to believe that this universe depends on a God who governs it." Thus, it also declares that religions must never incite war, hateful attitudes, hostility, and extremism, nor must they incite violence or the shedding of blood. The document states that this violence exists from deviating from religious teachings and a manipulation to incite hatred, violence, extremism, and blind fanaticism.
Nel nome di Dio Creatore dunque va senza esitazione condannata ogni forma di violenza, perché è una grave profanazione del nome di Dio.
Founded on the basis of the common belief in God, the document asks all religions to stop using God's name to justify murder, exile, terrorism, and oppression. The Pope has also spoken in the past about his beliefs of Islamic fundamentalism. He said it's not fair to identify Islam with violence.
Credo che in quasi tutte le religioni c'è sempre un piccolo gruppetto fondamentalista. Noi ne abbiamo. Credo che non è giusto identificare l'Islam con la violenza. Questo non è giusto e non è vero.
This document states the urgency to stop supporting terrorist movements and attempts to justify these movements with the media. It calls these actions international crimes that threaten security and world peace. This document emphasizes the importance of the role of religions in the construction of world peace. Peace and harmony are virtues Pope Francis has spoken about since the beginning of his pontificate.
It is my hope that interreligious and ecumenical cooperation will demonstrate that men and women do not have to forsake their identity, whether ethnic or religious, in order to live in harmony with their brothers or sisters.
The declaration claims it's a sign of closeness between East and West, North and South, and between all who believe God has created them to understand one another and live as brothers and sisters. A new idea was also proposed: citizenship for everyone based on equal human dignity, rights, duties, and the need to be treated justly.
Il Medio Oriente deve diventare terra di pace. Non può continuare ad essere terreno di scontro. La guerra, figlia del potere e della miseria, ceda il posto alla pace, figlia del diritto e della giustizia, e anche i nostri fratelli cristiani siano riconosciuti come cittadini a pieno titolo e con uguali diritti.
Currently, citizenship is not granted to non-Muslims in the UAE, while they're able to practice their religion freely. Thus, this idea proposes full citizenship and rejecting the discriminatory use of the term minorities, which engenders feelings of isolation and inferiority. The dignity and equality of women, children, and the elderly is also stressed upon, especially in Muslim-based institutions, where it's not practiced.
L'indifferenza uccide e noi vogliamo essere voce che contrasta l'omicidio dell'indifferenza. Vogliamo dare voce a chi non ha voce, a chi può solo inghiottire lacrime.
The document calls for women to be allowed education, employment, and political rights, that they can be freed from historical and social conditioning and protected from sexual exploitation and being treated as objects of pleasure or financial gain. Children must also be protected and allowed a family atmosphere, education, nutrition, and support. Likewise, the weak, disabled, and elderly must be protected. Pope Francis anticipated his 2-day trip with this statement.
Sono felice di questa occasione offertami dal Signore per scrivere sulla vostra terra una nuova pagina di storia delle relazioni tra le religioni, confermando che siamo fratelli, pur essendo differenti.
It seems he meant the new page part quite literally, as from February 4th forward, a new fraternity may have been found between these two religions.
Hello friends, Pastor Doug Batchelor here. It's been a little while since we've done a Prophecy News update, but some things happened this week that we think should really capture the attention of most people, especially Protestants. I don't know if you're aware of what the Pope did on Thursday, September 12, but he had a special video where he is now setting up a date to establish a global pact with the leaders of the world to re-educate the young people of the world. This was also presented by the Vatican in written form, as well as the Pope himself reading it on a video. And the date is May 14, 2020, and he's calling for the leaders of the world to come. Well, let's just play this video. You'll have it here on your screen.
Carissimi, nell'enciclica Laudato Si.
Oh, got to stop it already. First thing he does when he presents this video is he references his encyclical that was Laudato Si from 2015. And this was the Pope's encyclical on the environment. And in this, please don't miss, he starts this whole video by referencing his famous encyclical on the environment, which says on paragraph 237, on Sunday, our participation in the Eucharist has a special importance. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationships with God, with ourselves, with others, and with the world. Now, of course, this whole encyclical on the environment is talking about what we can do to save the world, the environment, and help prevent or reverse global warming. And he actually is implying that by keeping the Sabbath, and even says going to church on Sunday, we'd let the environment rest. I'll read on here. It says, Sunday is the day of the resurrection, the first day of the new creation, whose first fruits are the Lord's risen humanity and the pledge of the final transfiguration of all created reality. It also proclaims man's eternal rest, the law of weekly rest forbade work on the seventh day. He agrees it's the seventh day. And so that your ox and your donkey may have rest, and the son of your maidservant and the stranger might be refreshed. Rest opens our eyes to the larger picture and gives us renewed sensitivity to the rights of others. So he's basically saying that, by resting and resting people, animals, the environment, it's going to help contribute towards this saving of the environment. So don't miss the point that he begins his comments by referencing his encyclical dealing with the environment.
A collaborare per custodire la nostra casa comune.
Calling everyone to care for our common home, casa comune. That means common house, meaning the world. We have to work to save the world.
Per capire quanto è urgente.
Urgente means urgency. This is urgent. It's an emergency.
Sia la sfida che abbiamo davanti, dobbiamo puntare sulla educazione, che apre la mente e i cuori ad una comprensione più larga e più profonda della realtà. Serve un patto educativo globale.
We need a global compact on education. The world needs to be re-educated, and we need the leaders of the world to come together and sign this compact. And a compact, of course, is a firm contract, promise, treaty, or an agreement. So he's calling on everybody to come together. I wonder who's going to write that out. I say facetiously, it'll probably be produced by the Vatican, and have everyone agree that we need to re-educate the world on what we need to do to save the environment.
Che ci educhi alla solidarietà universale, a un nuovo umanesimo. Per questo ho promosso un evento mondiale.
So he says we're going to promote this global event that is going to create a new universal solidarity. Now that solidarity means a new unity, and that's been his mantra through his papacy, and a new humanism he talks about. You wonder, what does a new humanism mean? Usually churches are reluctant to talk about humanistic point of view because Christians do not have the humanistic point of view. We've got the Christian worldview.
Che si terrà il 14 maggio del 2020.
So he's giving the date. It's going to happen on the 14th of May, 2020. He's inviting everyone to Rome. It's still not clear if it's actually going to be in the Vatican. The Vatican may not be big enough to house the gathering. I think they're waiting to see how many and which world leaders will respond to this invitation to agree to a new education.
In un momento di estrema frammentazione, di estrema contrapposizione, c'è bisogno di unire gli sforzi, di far nascere un'alleanza educativa per formare persone mature capaci di vivere nella società e per la società.
So he's saying we're living in a time of great fragmentation, of great division. We need to get mature people. So he's saying those that come, they're the mature ones that are going to agree. This is the only way we're going to really save the world. Come together.
Ogni cambiamento però ha bisogno di un cammino educativo. Noi non possiamo fare un cambiamento senza educare a quel cambiamento.
No, I can't disagree with what he's saying here, that if you want change, you need to educate for that change. It shouldn't surprise us that the Pope, who is a Jesuit, is talking about the importance to educate for change. This is a primary tenet of the Jesuits, is education, and they operate educational institutions all over the world. They know how important it is to train and form and I almost use the word brainwash people about how to think.